truth and makeup, but the light cuts through the veil at will. And I've been waiting for this all my life, to hear the sound that breaks the lie. Yeah, I've been waiting for this fire inside. Tailspin calls and we testify. Tailspin on X tonight. No spin, just truth, just light. 7 p.m. the storm ignites. Tailspin rolls through the night. Truth don't need disguise, no. No spin, just like
Yo, what's going on, Mav?
What's going on, Pop?
Same old. How are you?
Good. Give me a second, Pop. Greg, I sent you the request to come up. You got to click on that in order to come up to speak. Try it again. Everyone, just give us a second. Working on some technical difficulties here. It's the first time for Lieutenant Colonel to be on Spaces. So we're going to work out the bugs. We did try Space earlier, so we're just waiting for him to come up. Greg, I did send you a request. You have to click that mic button to request up. As soon as you do so, I'll be able to bring you up on stage. There we go. I can hear you, sir. How are you? No problem. We are doing great, doing great. So what I'm gonna do now is gonna start off the show, and then we'll jump in with you. Can you hear everything fine?
Sounds just perfectly clear.
Great. All right, everybody, welcome to Tailspin. We're live here every night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is where curiosity leads. No conclusions, no pressure to believe, no pressure to agree, just real conversation, asking real questions about what's actually going on. And tonight we are graced and honored to have Lieutenant Colonel Greg Rinchich. Greg is a former U.S. Air Force service member and independent UFO researcher who's become known in the disclosure and paranormal space for his claims of direct encounters and insight into covert programs within the U.S. government. He's appeared across podcast interviews and independent media discussing UFO encounters, abduction phenomena, government secrecy, and alleged black programs. The possibility that these experiences go beyond the physical craft. His work sits in an intersection of military perspective, personal experience, and alternative interpretation of the phenomena. And while his claims are said by some to be controversial, they continue to fuel ongoing debate around what people may actually be encountering. Greg, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We're so glad to have you here on Tailspin. You still there with us, Greg? Oh boy. Hope we didn't lose him.
He may have not hit the mic button.
The mic shows off. Can you hear us, Colonel? Is your mute button off? You might have to click on that mute on the mic button.
Hold on, just
Oh, there we go.
you got me.
Yes, now we can hear you, sir.
I'm sorry about that. Somebody tried to call in. It was one of my renters, and I told him I was busy right now.
Yeah, that'll happen if somebody tries calling you.
Yeah.
So was that introduction accurate, or were you in the call?
Very accurate. It was very accurate.
Good, good, good. I know you have. I mean, wow, you go back all the way to the Iran Contra, in the 80s, all the way up into working at Area 51. So I was thinking if we could just jump to Area 51, maybe
That
have you
would be
back.
fun.
Maybe have you back for the Iran Contra, because I find that very interesting as well, and I think that could be a whole segment on its own. So, if you could, everybody hears about Area 51. What is it about Area 51 and S4 that the public gets wrong? Maybe we can
Well,
start off there.
Area 51 doesn't have anything. It's just a declassification center. And all they do is classify or declassify document. It's S4 is where it happens. That's where all the craziness is. Not Area 51. You might see something fly in there and fly out, but you won't. There's nothing really goes there on there that they need more than regular security at. So S4 is where it all happens.
So, can you tell us a little bit about S4 and your experience at S4 and how you ended up being assigned?
Yeah, I applied for that job and got it. And what they do is they start you out on the first level and then the second level, you know, for a week and all. The seventh level underground is where everything happens. And then when they send you down there, you're greeted by things you just can't explain. You know, the super soldier program is partly there, where they genetically altered wolves and made werewolves out of them. The Nephilim are down there. There's craft down there, all kinds of stuff. And we're interconnected with over 120,000 miles of tunnels going to every state. So every state has its Area 51 or its S4 somewhere. They're just, it's just endless. And you gotta, and then there's a -7 that goes to Cheyenne, Wyoming, and Denver Airport that I didn't have clearance enough to go in. I didn't want to go in, really. But you have to have a clearance, and it's called Cosmic Top Secret, is what the clearance was then. I don't know what they call it now. But yeah, my thing was I was supposed to go down there and protect the scientists. Me and my crew, that's what we did. And in the middle of that, protecting the scientists, you get to see everything. You get to ask questions. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. Some of the stuff you see, you're so much shocked when you see it that you really can't explain it. It shocks you. And you still have to do your job, you know. I hated that place. I hated it.
Now, S4, was that the only facility you worked at?
No, I went to Dulce, Wright Patterson, El Toro, California, in a Marine base there. But what even the guys on top of the ground, they don't even know that there's an underground tunnel there. The soldiers don't. None of them. So, we were whisked on this train that goes from tunnel to tunnel, sets of trains that run on magnetic power. And that's how I ended up at them other places. But I never knew where I was going to be from one day to the next. I might be 5 days here, and then all of a sudden, oops, you got to go over here and relieve this command and blah, blah, blah. And I used to tell my commander, when am I going to get relief? Y'all won't let me out. So, yeah, it was bad. I mean, especially the Nephilim. The Nephilim have a smell to them like death. They smell like death. And I seen one time that was 21 foot tall. And they're cannibals. So you got to keep close eye on them. That's why we guarded the scientists, the ones doing the genetics on species to go down there. They do genetics, trying to bring back dinosaurs and all this other stuff. And my job was to just make sure the scientists were okay. And I had to sign a paper saying that I wouldn't use the name of Jesus while I was under there, under no circumstances. No circumstances will I was allowed to use that name. So even if you hurt you stubbed your toe or something, you still couldn't use that name, not even in anger. You couldn't even use it as a cuss word. You could get fired. But it was lucrative as far as the money goes. But, I've got PTSD from that place. Not from that place. That's how bad it is. I have nightmares all the time, so they've got me on different things to keep me from having nightmares. And I've got all kinds of health problems. I just had a shoulder replaced. I've had all kinds of stuff done on account of that place there. So, yeah, it was rough.
So if we could just go back a little bit, because this is, I mean, all this stuff is just, it's so interesting. And I have over the years followed some of this, but I've never spoken to anyone who's actually said they've been in these facilities. So let's go back to when you first got down. I guess level 7 would be where everything is super classified, correct?
Right. Well,
Uh,
and that's for everything is super classified. It's just that levels, they all got different levels. And level 7 is just where they have the worst of the worst. And this is where the scientists do their genetic experiments at, is in level 7. And it's a nightmare. I don't even know how to put it in words, how much of a nightmare it was. You're looking over your shoulder every time you move, you know what I mean? It's hard to explain the fear that you have when you're down there. You're scared the whole time.
I can only imagine, just from the things you said. I don't think I'd want to be in there at all. But so this is, let's go back. This is your first day going down to level 7. Do they brief you on what you're going to see? Um,
No, they actually want to see what your shock value is. Are you going to be able to handle it or not? And we were told that we would see some things we can't explain, and just don't pay attention to it. Don't talk to it. But you can talk to the scientists. And so, that's where I got became a Christian, is because of a scientist down there. And yeah, they don't prepare you for anything. That's why when they recruit you, they don't care what your record is. They do a background check on you. And the worse it is, the better they like it, because you're not going to find nobody that sings lullabies going down there. I'll tell you that.
so on your first day, what was the first thing you seen, or what was your impression when you
That
first
was
went?
the first thing I seen was a gray alien. It was the first time I seen it. And at that time, I thought they were just, doing a hologram or something. I really, what I was seeing, I really didn't even believe it. I just went in, and that was the easiest way to get around the fear factor is this isn't real. But it is real. And so the Greys are the first ones I seen down there. And they're pretty vicious too. They they do abductions, but a lot of people that get abducted don't ever leave their house. These Greys give you the illusion that you're in a ship. You're not really in one. And if you're good enough for them, they'll bring you back. So when they brought people in there, sometimes I'd never seen them again. And sometimes I seen them being marched out on somewhere else. So the Greys were the first things that I seen down there. I'm talking about right when the elevator doors opened, they were there. And I remember this awful stench. They can't live unless there's some sulfur dioxide there, which is deadly poison to humans. So we had to wear masks, So the Greys were definitely the first ones I seen. They were the ones doing experiments on people per orders of the scientists. They can't live in our atmosphere in oxygen very long. They can't breathe pure oxygen. And, you see this chemtrail spraying and all this other stuff. All they're doing is trying to terraform it so that they can live in it. Because their plans are to come up here and annihilate everything that I've seen down there and everything. So their plans were are to annihilate everybody up on top of the earth. And I hear once in a while from some of my buddies that just got out of there, and they told me that it's really getting bad down there. They're almost getting uncontrollable, especially the Nephilims. They're the top dogs. Them and the reptilians, they're the top dogs. And so whatever they say that all the other species do. And the one they call the mantis isn't really a mantis. It's a cicada. But I can see where you'd make a mistake. You know what a cicada is, right?
Yes.
That's what it is. Only it's about 10 foot tall. And they walk upright. First time I seen one of them, I was really freaked. What really messed my mind up was the werewolves. And I know everybody listening is finding this hard to believe, but that's what they want. But what's really funny is, you always hear people say, I wish somebody from down there would tell us what's going on. So I telling everybody what's going on and they don't want to believe it. So that's why when I left, I remember my exit interview, they were saying, go ahead and tell a lie.
Just to
Sign out. Go ahead.
Just to add in for those that are listening, that the Colonel's been telling the story going back over 25 years. He was on Coast to Coast with Art Bell and other podcasts going back years. So as this is starting to come out publicly now, he's been talking about this way back, even when Phil Snyder, if anyone knows Phil Snyder, who quote unquote killed himself after coming out with the similar stories that the Colonel is sharing with you guys tonight. This goes back decades, and his story has not changed. So when you were talking about let's just go back for a second. You were talking about the Greys and abductions. So you're saying that those who experience abductions aren't necessarily going up in craft; they're actually going underground.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. They have a mist that they can put out that makes you like in a trance hallucinogenic state. And they control the hallucination. And they just make you look like you're in a craft when they're doing all these things on you right over top of your bed while you're laying there. So, the ones that were abducted, now, of course, I'm one person and I have one team, and we didn't see everything. I don't know everything, but I know quite a bit because I was real inquisitive with the scientists. And I said, you know what? I asked one scientist, and he pulled me to the side and told me real softly, I said, what's the deal with this place? I said, where do these things come from? And all the tunnels and stuff, people think we drilled them. They were already there. We just found them. And they've had to make agreements with the government, like Phil Schneider, when he got his finger shut off. The Delta Force went down there to save his life, and they all died saving his life. And it ended up being a full-blown war against the Greys, a shooting war. And they finally came to an agreement. And they broke the agreement right away because first they say, well, we're going to abduct so many people. And part of the agreement was that the people would be brought back unharmed. And then they started keeping people, you see. They started keeping them. Well, our government's so afraid of them, they didn't say nothing about it. The government's afraid of them. Absolutely just terrified of them. They really are. And me especially, but I talked to the scientist one time and I said, these come from hell or what? And he goes, well, let me just ask you something. Do you believe in absolutes? I said, what do you mean? He goes, absolute truth, absolute evil. I said, I guess I do. And he says, if you don't believe in absolutes, you can't believe in God or the wonder is absolutely one. Other. Just like my name is absolutely Gregory. Okay. That's an absolute. If somebody called me John, it's a lie. So you have to believe in absolutes to understand what's going on down there. And that's really hard to explain what an absolute is. But yeah, you're faced with so many different things each day that you never hardly ever see one day and the same thing the next. You know.
So Colonel, you said you were down there. I understand what you're saying with absolute. Either you believe or you don't. I guess it doesn't really matter if these things are good and versus evil or evil versus good. It doesn't matter if we believe if that's what they absolutely are. What are our scientists doing with them? What could humanity be doing down there with them? Or why would we want to be down there with them if you're saying they're pure evil?
Well, because we're trying to genetically create super soldiers. And they think that, like the Nephilim, they're absolutely that tall and they're not going to change. They're not going to shrink up. They're that tall. And so they think if they can somehow control them, the reason, let me just back up a little bit about the werewolves. The reason that they did the werewolves is because what is a wolf? It's a dog, isn't it? And a dog's easy to train. So they slowly, kept messing around until they came up with the full-blown werewolves. And there's a base in Alaska. I've never been there. I just have a friend that's there. Never been there and never heard of it until he told me. And I'm not going to say the name of the base because I promised him I wouldn't. But there is a base in Alaska where they do the super soldier program. And they use these werewolves and they're massive. They're 8, 9, 10 feet tall and weigh, 500-600 pounds. And so they believe if they can train them to do what they're told, that they would be essential to our military. And they're down there. All these cryptids you hear about, I believe probably 80% of them that I see and hear on internet, whatever. But I've got live contact friends that I talk to all the time, and they're just as terrified as me, I had an encounter out here with one, and it's just been a few weeks ago. I've got 500 acres of land behind me. It's all woods. So we found a couple deer that were tore all to pieces, and we thought maybe it was a rogue bear, and I didn't want it coming near the house, you know what I mean? So we were going to stalk it and kill it. And this is no lie. We were walking down the path, because there's a path back there. It used to be a running path for me and my friends and ride dirt bikes back there. And all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, appears this werewolf. He's about 70 yards away, and I'm talking about within a second or two, he was right in my face. I had a 12-gauge shotgun with 3.5-inch magnums in it. That's a potent round. And I shot 3 times, and it stunned him. And the last shot I got, his face was almost up in mine. I finally shot him in the face, and it just disappeared like a vapor, just gone, interdimensional. And so, you know, we were freaked out. I mean, I wasn't out there to look for werewolves. You know what I mean? I was out there to look. I was looking for a rogue bear to kill, and because when they go rogue like that, they'll kill you. And I do have bears back here, so that's what we were expecting. We weren't expecting that. The other guy was in so much shock, I had to help him walk because he couldn't believe what he's seen. He's been having nightmares for days now since that. But they're vicious. They're absolutely vicious, but it came out of nowhere because they're interdimensional. A lot of people don't understand what interdimensional is. You remember the Tower of Babel in
Yes.
the Bible?
Yes.
Those levels that he was going on, he wasn't trying to build a tower to heaven. Each one of those levels was another dimension. That's what he was trying to do. Because Nimrod was there, and the Bible says that Nimrod became. Didn't say he was a Nephilim before he got there. It says he became. And you know, we're reaching them levels, and it made God mad, and that's why he scattered them about. And so interdimensional is just what it is. In dimension, out of dimension, and there's. I always see that we only see in 3 dimensions: height, width, and depth. Well, Chuck Missler, do you know who he is?
No, I do not.
Okay, Dr. Chuck Missler was a very famous doctor who figured out that there was 11 dimensions. He was a doctor, and he said there was 11 dimensions. So I don't know where these things, what it looks like in another dimension. I won't go near it. And you know, they had a Stargate down there, and I only seen it work one time. I only seen the guy coming out of it, not in it. And when he came out, it was just an old man. I was thinking to myself, why are they stick an old man in there? He said, what are you talking about? He's 30 years old. He's only been in there 20 minutes. And he came out an old man because there is no time. And he was mad because he said they left him up there 20 some years. That's what it seemed like to him. And so he was seeing all the dimensions. You see what I mean? So if you were to go back in 11 dimensions, you wouldn't be 5 minutes and you'd be 100 years old. So I don't know how it works or anything. I'm not a scientist. You know, I'm not going to brag and say I was. I was an airplane mechanic, and I did some security work. And that's all I was. I was a private contractor to the Army, which made me a lieutenant colonel. One reason they did that is because most of the people you work with are civilians. I mean, are military that you work with, not scientists, are military, and they don't want to listen to what a civilian has to say about nothing. They don't want to hear it. So they made some of us high-ranking officers so that in the military guys didn't know this, and so they would listen to our every word. Because if you didn't, you were going to die. I'm telling you. You're right. My story has never changed. I've been talking about this for 20 some years, and my story has never changed. And a lot of people like to think that it's just BS. Well, I'm sorry. A lot of people want to hear what goes on down there, and I'm telling you right now, it goes on down there. And these beings are only being held by God's timeline. That's all they're being held by is God's timeline. And when he lets them go, there was an incident a month ago where these Nephilim went down, or these guys some military guys to Delta Force, I think, I don't know, went down underneath this underground place. They found a new cavern. And there was 250 of those guys went in, and not one of them came out. But the Nephilim did. It took them 6 hours to eat all of them. They ate them. Have you ever heard of the Kandahar giant?
Yes.
That's what he did to the first batch that went in there. You remember?
Yeah,
It
I remember.
wasn't. Yeah, they had to send Delta Force down there, and Delta Force took it out. But can you imagine 250 people being eaten in 6 hours? It's just
No.
unbelievable.
Well, when you were down underground, were there special weapons they gave you, or was it just standard issue weapons?
Well, I used the 338 Lapua Magnum with copper bullets. So for some reason or another, I don't know why, but copper's the only thing that stops them. And what I shot that werewolf the other night wasn't copper, it was lead. You know, it was double out buck. And we went back there the next day and found blood on the ground and found some hair. And my next door neighbor's about 20 acres away from me. He's a sheriff's deputy, and he heard shooting. He came out there, and he said that he had seen them. So we were all discussing, what are we going to do about this? And he goes, nothing. We're not going to tell nobody a thing. He goes, it would ruin my career if I came out with a story like that. It would ruin my career. So they're coming. If you notice the cryptids, there's like on internet where they have cryptids. Isn't there? You ever see so many reports before in your life?
The numbers are definitely going up. That's for sure.
That's right. They're going up because they're letting them loose. They can only keep so many down there. And if you kill one for nothing, then you got to deal with the others. So we only kill them when they told us to, or if they were coming at us. And they're in restraint now because of God's time. When they're out of restraint, you couldn't pay me. There's not enough money in this world or anything that's on this planet and everything in it that would make me go down there now. Never. They'd have to drag my dead body down there. That's the only way I'd go. I would not go down there. And go ahead.
I got a question from one of the listeners. They want to know, you had mentioned that there was an agreement between us and the Grays. Is that the agreement that was supposedly signed by Roosevelt?
Yeah. Yeah. And it was technology in exchange for leaving them alone. And leaving alone doesn't mean you can't do something. If they get out of line, you can do something. But they broke that agreement, you see. So we did whatever we felt was right. And it's hard to be one person and make that decision for everybody else. You know what I mean? And because nobody wants to tangle with them. Nobody does. And so, I had to weigh out what was right and what was wrong, because if I killed one and didn't have to, I would be in trouble. And as far as I was concerned, I was ready to kill them all. In my mind, I just wanted some peace. That's what I wanted. Peace and a bottle of rum.
Are you familiar with the reports that in the 1970s under Carter's administration that we ended up in a major conflict with them at Dulce Base?
Yeah, that's what I did. Phil Schneider.
That's when Phil
That's
Schneider.
where we had that was the full-blown shootout. Phil Schneider, that was the Dulce Base. And what they was doing, he was an engineer, and they were just drilling, I don't know what they were looking for, but they were just drilling. And they drilled into this pocket, and it ended up being a tunnel. And it was, by his account, it was slam full of graves. And they started a firefight immediately. Well, Bill just had a little revolver with him, or a 45. He didn't have nothing but a pistol. And he got up a couple rounds, and they shot him with what looked like a laser weapon, and it burned his fingers off. And so he was screaming, and Delta Force went down there to try to save him. And I don't know how long it lasted, but it was months, just full-blown firefight down there. Try to keep him contained. And then finally they made an agreement. Okay, this hasn't gotten going anywhere right like this. We can give you guys technology, which is fallen angel technology, is what we called it, in exchange for letting us do what we need to do, in exchange for us being able to abduct many people and this and that. So I didn't get to read the agreement, but I know about it. And I know what happened down there in detail, what happened down there. And it was a bloody mess. That's what it was. And everybody that was on the ground remembered the stench that came out of there. They all smell like, including the Nephilim, the beings, they all smelled like dying flesh. Do you ever smell a carcass of a dog laying on the side of the road or whatever that smell?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Oh yeah, I used to put use coffee grounds under my nose and in my nose because it smelled so bad. But you can't breathe much of it because it's sulfur dioxide. That's what comes out of volcanoes is sulfur dioxide. So you can't breathe a whole lot of it. And I remember being sometimes in the dark where I didn't see hadn't one up above for over a month at a time. Sometimes wouldn't know what time of day it was or if it was even daylight. Didn't care. I was worried about my own self, and my guys, and just finishing this contract out and getting out of here. That was my whole goal. My whole goal.
So if we go back to when you were down at level 7 underground, protecting and providing security for the scientists, were the scientists working directly with the Greys, or were they doing things separate with some of their technology?
They were doing both. I even seen the craft. And let me tell you about that. You remember Dave, was David Grush that was on the oversight committee when they were drilling him about the UFO and UAPs?
Yes.
Well, remember when he said we have biologics?
Yes.
He wasn't meaning I'm sure he did. He knows, but the craft itself is actually alive. It can shapeshift. The craft can. It can shapeshift itself into looking like a jetliner. It can say whatever they want. And they're not aliens from another star system. They're demons. They're demons. They're demonic. They have nothing to do with another star system. A lot of people think it's controversial, but I'm telling you right now that they have nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with that. Period. They're just demonic. And the Book of Enoch explains them pretty good. It's not the canon of the Bible, but it's something that should be a must read everybody. And it pretty much explains exactly what I'm telling you. About the giants being cannibals and this and that, and some of their first estate, which was when they were in heaven or when Lucifer fell. And some of them wanted to come down here with the women so bad they left their first states with what Enoch says, and the Bible says it as well. I know I'm bringing up the Bible a lot. It doesn't take long to be born again Christian after seeing all that. I'm going to tell you that, because there has to be an explanation. And now they're saying that they believe that there was a God. I seen it the other day on Newsmax, because science is saying that the universe has an age to it. So somebody had to start it. So it's the same with these. Some of them were hundreds of years old.
Did we lose you, Colonel? Are you still there?
He probably ended up getting a phone call or an alarm.
Yes, probably. There's anyone.
I'll send
Go ahead.
him a message and see if we can get him back.
Thank you, Guy. If there's anyone down below that has any questions, please feel free to come up. I know there's a lot of people from UFO community that might have different opinions, and some that might actually agree with the Colonel. I'd love to hear your interpretation of what he's talking about, especially those who have experienced things themselves. I don't know if maybe help you out with something he said or say or witnessed, or if there's something you want to ask him a question about. Go ahead, Gene. I just don't know if the Colonel's back.
Yeah, I'll wait till he comes back because I'm just sort of interested in the time frames, right? Because obviously we've got the Bob Lazar story, we've got the release of the acknowledgement of Area 51 and all that. So yeah, I just have a couple of questions around that when he's back, and I can have a minute or two.
Oh, sure, no problem. No problem at all. Go ahead, Romero. Romero, you have your hand up? Looks like he dropped. Hopefully, Guy will be able to get back. I just want to give a big shout out to Guy. Guy helped set his account up and made sure it happened on the technical end for tonight. So I couldn't do it without my co-host. Big shout out to Guy. And as a lot of you know who do host spaces, you can't beat a good co-host.
Yep. Thank you, Matt. No, it seems like he's gonna try to come back. I did just send him a couple messages, and we'll see what we can do here.
Sure. Anyone have any comments or questions on what was discussed so far? I mean, there's
Matt,
quite a bit.
I have one more on the Art Bell and the Coast to Coast episodes. Have you heard those, or can you share a link to where those are?
I don't have them on me. Man, he mentioned he was on those episodes, and also,
Hello guys, how are you? Thank you for having me, and Marv, Paul, Guy, and Pop, and thank you so much for calling. And yeah, I hearing you with this small rock. I don't know if you can you hear me properly? Can you thumbs up and telling me with the one sign that I understand that you are hearing me? Okay. Thank you so much. So when the colonel come back, I wish to ask him, is it possible in the area 51? I have heard about that there are still some extraterrestrial that's old is extraterrestrial old aliens is still living there, like Anunnakis, and especially Poseidon, which called one of the three god in the Greece, and it's called Poseidon. So many people believe that he is still living there, and it's locked down there, and I want to know the story. Is it, if it is the gray, is it real? So maybe the story about the Anunnaki also is gonna be super real. And so in that case we are not evolved in the earth, and we are arrive in the earth, and that's the it's gonna answering many questions, especially the the last chain of the evolution of the you know last chain of the evolution. So many people believe that we are came from the another planets, like in Mars or some people call that Earth number one, and another people believe that we are evolved in the Earth.
Romero, some of that stuff he did cover. We can ask him that when he comes back. But I believe he said the one, Area 51 is a declassification site. So they'll take classified projects, they'll move them to Area 51 when they're about to declassify and then release them publicly. So you will get test flights and things like that coming out of Area 51, but that is not the real secure area. So S4 and Dulce Base and facilities like that are the top secret facilities. And from what the colonel has mentioned, No, he does not believe they're Anunnaki. He does not believe they're from another planet. He believes they've always been here, so ultra dimensional. So he believes that they're as what we would consider fallen angels or demonic. That's his belief on what he's learned and from witnessing these things. And he was an atheist until he was at Dulce Base, and then he had converted to being born again. Go ahead, guy. Guy, get your hand up. Oh boy, now guy's rugging. Guy. Oh, guy. He might be on the phone. We're gonna go to game, and then we'll go to royalty. Go ahead, game.
Hey, Mav, I just wanted to say I appreciate you covering this. As you know, I just got back from Vegas and just that drive there and back, looking across like the the land and all the whiteness on the ground and everything. And as soon as I got into Vegas, they were talking about all this stuff on through Twitter. I mean, through not Twitter, TikTok. And I was like, I've heard a lot of this before that they were covering, and just like with what this gentleman was saying as well, I'm like, wow, man. You know what? When you hear something enough, there has to be some type of truth in there. Just the same as with every lie, there's a little truth, and with every truth, there's a little lie. I kind of feel the same way, and just overall the time that I've been intrigued with this stuff. Um, I'm 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 so blessed to actually be able to go back and listen to the rest of this interview because this space is recorded. So if anybody misses anything, you can do just as the same as I'm going to do, and that's go back and listen to it. And I just wanted to say thank you, Mav, for hosting this.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, game. Yes, it's definitely going to be recorded. I'm broadcasting also on YouTube if that's easier for you. Because sometimes my spaces have a tendency, depending on topic, to erase themselves. So I like to put them on multiple platforms so that does not occur. And I also keep a recording of myself on my PC because, like I said, a lot of these spaces just disappear. We go to royalty, then to our dear friend.
Real
Hey,
quick,
guy.
Matt. I just got off the phone with our guest Gregory. He said he's been on here saying hello, hello, and everybody just keeps talking over him. I did tell him to restart his space and join it like he did earlier. He says if he can't come up, it's because he has a history of the government shutting his phone down.
That is possible. I keep looking through. I haven't seen him pop back up. I'll just keep looking to see if he pops up. And if anyone else sees him pop up, if you can just let us know. Um, yeah, I don't see him in it at all. But you say he's going to reload it, so we'll see what happens. All right, we're going to go to royalty, then we'll go to fringe.
Wholeness Tribe, greetings everybody. This is a beautiful conversation. I love it. Yeah, I definitely had a couple of questions on if he's ever seen a transformation, like straight from his eyes, and if any of the telepathic situations that he's had down there, if any of those things happened, and also about the eyes, because it's very interesting. Because I mean, I've been through some of this stuff. I've been taking the Livermore Labs, been seeing a lot of this stuff, and actually, I was just in Shasta, and I guess the new werewolves, like they're visible. They literally, you can hear walking, you can hear breathing, but you won't even see them. And then one of the scare tactics that they do is they'll shake something to the left of you, then to the right, then all of a sudden it'll be like in front, behind, and encompassing you. And that fear is what is able to connect to somebody's, I guess, visual, or just to connect to them and be able to be attacked. So very interesting. Also the things he said about copper. It's because of the conductivity levels, and he's right. It's silver or copper are the only things that really could pierce through that, because if they're able to shift just like any anybody in a deep state of meditation sometimes are reported to just disappear. I mean, we all have these abilities. It's really getting into the vibrational aspect and stuff like that. So, yeah, and also like werewolves usually when they're heard, they'll somebody like a hunter usually will report that they hear some type of like metal sound, which would be like a portal opening, and that's where they come in. So I love the story. I love how he's been talking about it for 20 years, but thinking about 20 years he's been talking about this. So within 20 years, how many advancements have happened, right? So good stuff. I love it. I love it. Let's rock and roll.
Thanks, royalty. Yeah, we're gonna get the fringe, but about 10 years ago, I bought. I'm not gonna say how many shells, but I heard about the copper, and I'm like, yo, I got a nice 12 gauge. I'm gonna get some four shot with copper. So I got my four shot with copper on standby if needed. And now I'm glad I have it because we all know how much copper's gone up in price. Whew. Go ahead, French.
Hey, Mav, thanks for the space. I just got here not too long ago. I hope I didn't miss the beginning of it. I did post for Gene down in the Purple Pill a link to some of this gentleman's older interviews. They're fantastic. I know this kind of thing sounds insane to most people probably in the space, but remember, this kind of thing. First of all, I've seen these animal head creatures myself, and this kind of thing is noted throughout the abduction research, and the lore reminds me a lot of Ted Rice and what he saw at Dulce Base. So just keep that in mind. I know it sounds outrageous, it sounds fantastical, but it is noted throughout the research. So it's just something to keep in mind as being, something we should keep on the table.
True, true. I love you jumping up fringe because I respect all the stuff you've been through and your background on top of it, which gives you a lot of credibility. And I'd say I've interviewed quite a few people. I think I've had one person, guy might remember, pop might remember. This is going back months. And the guy was supposedly an experiencer, and the story just did not match. So anyone who's been through anything traumatic, it kind of locks in your brain. There's really no thinking. You could just kind of flow. Um, and there was a lot of back and forth. Oh, yeah, and I forgot. Oh, yeah, I forgot. If you've been through a traumatic event, you don't forget a second. You remember the whole day like it was yesterday. Um, and I don't pick up that type of vibe from the lieutenant colonel. And if you go back and listen to these other podcasts and other things, he never changes his story, and it's always the same. So that adds a little bit more credibility to it because anyone can come up and say anything. Oh, I did this, that. But you can't, if you're lying, you can't keep the lie straight. You always end up adding to it, adding to it, adding to it. His story's never changed. Uh, and I'm sure Fringe knows from her past employment and career, she can detect it too if someone's lying or fabricating a story. But go ahead, Fringe.
Yeah, it changed his religion. That's what I love about this guy. Whatever he saw down there, and remember, with these creatures, we have to understand that it's either what we saw or what they wanted us to see, because they do control our perception. We can't ignore that part of it. But whatever he saw down there actually changed his religion, which I find fascinating about his story.
So true. To be an atheist, to believing, and to this day still believing, that says a lot right there. Go ahead, Gene.
No, that's fine. Never mind. Thanks.
Well, it looks like we're still having some problems getting the colonel back. Who knows? It wouldn't be the first time we've had issues. Um, just gonna let everybody know. I was talking to Dr. You all know Dr. John Brandenburg. I've had him on numerous times. He is okay. Somebody hacked his account, and he's trying to get his account back. So he hasn't been on the timeline. He's like, Mav, can you do me a favor? Just let everybody know I'm still good. Um, I just having issues with X, and of course, we all know no one at X is getting back to him with his email. So I'll keep you all posted on that. I told him I would give a shout out into space and then actually drop a post later so people know that he is okay. Uh, he's either been hacked or someone is actually on one of his posts and put a lot of Nazi propaganda in his comments. So I said, Doc, you might have just got kicked off to check for your security settings. So he's waiting to come back on. So I'll be putting a post out later that, same thing. He's okay. He's just having issues logging back into X. So we got someone else here. We got here. Let me check the profile.
Oh, sorry. I was supposed to check that profile, but I was on the phone with our friend Greg. Seems like I sent him a link again to join the space, and he can't get in here. He's saying that it's the government. The government is silencing him. They always do this type of thing.
Or it could just be X because we all have X spaces, X up. That wouldn't shock me in the least. Either one wouldn't shock me in the least. But we have someone else who jumped up on stage. Who is that there? Burke?
Hello, thank you for letting me up. I had a question. I know that you guys are like a UFO UAP research group, and I was wondering if you had interviewed anyone that was an experiencer and then converted to Islam or was a Muslim to begin with.
I'm not really a researcher on that. I don't know if there's anyone in the space who would know that.
Yeah, there's a group here on X. They're called the IR something P, Islamic Researchers something Paranormal. I do know someone who is Muslim who takes part in that group now and then. I can DM you his handle. I don't pop into their spaces very often, but when I do, they're very interesting and they're talking about the same things we are, more focused on the jinn. But in more direct answer to your question, I haven't known anyone who converted to Islam, but they may know. If you were really interested, I could pass on that contact info for you.
Yes, please send it my way. I'm super interested in it. I'm a Christian myself, but I never hear a Muslim's perspective on this. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'll send it right now.
And I believe the jinn are demons. I think.
They say the same thing.
And Andrea, did you have anything else?
Well, while we were filling time, I gave a listen to the link that Fringe posted down there. Took me to Amazon Music. Took me a second, and I just kind of popped into the middle of it. Very interesting, very compelling. You guys might want to check that out for sure. I'm going to listen to the whole thing later. Thanks, Fringe.
Yeah, for sure. Was there any new information? Did any new information come out, Mav, at the beginning of the space? I'm sorry, I missed the first several minutes, I think.
No, we kind of jumped ahead from his time working in South America, and we kind of jumped into when he first went to Area 51, and then to S4, and then to Dulce, and then he was talking about his encounters. He has been having a werewolf sighting near his home. Um, he did shoot it. It did bleed, and then it just kind of disappeared. And it was pretty interesting too because he mentioned that. Well, if you go back to listen to any of the previous podcasts that he's been going all the way back to Coast to Coast, that he says these beings are interdimensional, so they can shift from our reality into theirs very quick. When they shift into theirs, you can still see them, but they're not in the material world. And when they shift into our dimension, then they can hurt you and you can hurt them. But then they can shift back out, which I think, that would be a disadvantage for us, right? You're involved in some type of battle with them, and they can just shimmy over to their dimension and then shimmy back in and return fire or whatever. But he did say he shot the werewolf. They did locate blood on the ground, but it wasn't copper, it was lead. And I think it was Friday. God, was it Friday? I think Friday night he had other folks come out with cameras and everything, and they went out looking to see if they could find it again. I don't believe he did. But other than that, I haven't heard anything new. No, Fringe. But thank you so much for posting that stuff up because you'll be able to tell from what we were able to hear from him tonight is the same things that he's been speaking of for years. Um, I know talking to him on the phone, he did mention that things are kind of shifting and happening more, and he always reflects back, which I truly believe this myself as a Roman Catholic, that God has a short leash on them, but there will come a time where he lets that leash go. And I think Greg is saying he feels we're getting close to that. And they're like, I think he said they're like kind of like ants coming out of the ground. Once that starts, you're not going to be happy about that. They're just going to come out and they're just going to be everywhere. And right now they're still kind of under restraint. So that's what I got from talking to him over on the phone. But very nice guy. I know he's going through some financial heartaches. He was supposed to send me an email with his address if anybody wanted to donate to him. I believe he only gets like maybe 1,000, 1,500 a month, and that's it. But he didn't send me the information, so I have nothing to post it on. But he did start that new X account. If you all want to follow him back, because he's new to X. I was trying to get him on X and a few people that are attached with him. He is in like a Discord. I tried to get a few of his people to join X because I told him, especially told him about the UFO community here, that you guys are great. Um, and that you guys run great spaces and a lot of spaces where he could share his story and those involved can share their story and get it out to more people. But have any of you heard? I mean, I've heard similar stories to what he's talking about occur to him. Have anyone else heard it from anyone else? I know a lot of people know Phil Snyder, but have you heard it from anyone else who is actually working security details at these bases?
So I've had actually when I was in Italy, I had somebody that worked at CERN up in the Alps, and they were telling me that they were opening portals and they could see things coming in and out from the infrared cameras, but they didn't know how to interact with them. They didn't know what to do with them, and they were just in and out, doing whatever they want, like no control. That's something I was a part of.
Thanks, Royalty. Go ahead, guy.
Okay, so I just got off the phone with Greg again. He's gonna restart his phone and give it another go. I think that's the only other solution I can think of. Hopefully this works.
It will. It will.
That's great. Thank you so much, guy. Gene, I got something I think you'll find interesting. I don't know if you knew about it.
Yeah, what you got?
I was talking. Did you ever hear of what happened in Siberia? I think it was around the time that we had the Battle of Dulce Base in the 70s that the Russians had found that the Greys had a huge underground base in Siberia, and the Russians were not very happy about it, and they sent in troops and actually kicked their asses and ended up taking the underground facility back over. Have you ever heard anything about that in Russia?
No, I never heard about that.
Yeah, I heard that today. I don't want to mention from who, but I found that very interesting. And then also said that Reagan, he thinks, believes that's what ended the Cold War. So between Dulce Base and them finding a gray underground dome in Siberia, is what ended the Cold War. That Reagan and Gorbachev kind of made there was like a treaty, kind of like World War II. We have a common enemy now. We can't be fighting. So I found that very interesting.
Yeah.
All right. You're back. You're back. I think I I'm sorry you had these problems, Colonel. Fringe, do you have questions for the Colonel?
Yeah, Colonel, thank you so much for joining us. I was just wondering if you had any up-to-date information. I'm familiar with some of your old interviews, and I was wondering if you had anything new. Mav mentioned that you kind of felt like things might be ramping up, so I'm definitely interested in that. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes, they are ramping up. All I know is their time. It's about time. It's about, in other words, it's their turn, and everything is ramping up. And thank you for listening all those years. But yeah, it's really getting bad now. Just like me seeing that werewolf, I would have never thought in a million years that would have happened. I mean, just seeing that just freaks me out. Knowing that I knew this day would come, but I think that everything will be out in full blast, and in about 2 years it'll be just chaos and everybody hiding. And I don't mean that lightly. I mean seriously. People hiding because they're afraid. Can y'all still hear me?
Yes.
Great.
Okay. Yeah, so it's not going to get any better, I'll tell you that. You're seeing more stuff in the sky now. You're seeing more everything. The orbs and all this stuff. See, they're liars. Every one of them are liars. They lie about everything. The Nordics tell you, well, we came from Beta Reticuli and blah, 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 or the Palladians, that we came from the Pleiades, which is about 100 light years away. Like, we're going to be able to check that out. No, they've always been here. They told us that they've always been here. They told us they've always been here. Am I still on?
No, you're still there. You're still
Oh,
there.
okay.
Listen.
I'm
Is
sorry about
there
that.
is there anything from your experience? We know you said copper works. Is there anything else that that people can use if they come in contact with these things?
No. The only thing I seen it works now, that one that I shot disappeared with the lead, but you can actually kill them with, copper bullets. I don't know what it is about copper, but it shorts them out fast. That's the best thing you can do and there's a company called Barn Bullets that you can buy copper bullets at. And you need a high powered rifle. I used a 338 Lapua Magnum. It shot a 250 grade, about 3,500 feet a second. So it had a lot of recoil, but you don't notice it when your life's in danger. You don't feel that. It's like shooting your first deer. You don't even remember it.
Yeah, I had mentioned Colonel back about 10 years ago. I heard about the copper and I was like, hmm. And I went and I bought boxes and boxes of 4-shot copper shot, for coyote and fox. Like,
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna up.
they're accurate. And the best thing to do is buy a tumbler and put molly coating in the walnut shells and tumble the bullets in it. So they got molly coating into the shell when it's fired, so it slips through the barrel quick.
Do you know anything about how they communicate with us, or the claims that people have made that they're telepathic? Had you run into that at
Telepathic,
all?
but they can't read your mind. They only know if what they're telling you and from them is working is how you react. The worst thing you can do in front of it, and you're going to react, but trying to keep them in on. And that's the only way, like the devil, your mind is guarded. If you're a Christian, your mind's guarded. And the only way that he knows that his schemes are working is if you react, how you react to it. So yeah, they do telepathic stuff, but they lie. They're all liars. You can't believe a thing any of them say. You can't believe nothing when they speak out loud or whatever. They're all lying. A little bit of lie makes the whole thing a lie. So they sucker you in with a little bit of truth, most lie.
But
It's like, huh? Go ahead.
can they speak, or is it all telepathic?
No, they can speak. Yeah, because they can't read your mind. You know, they have to speak. I've heard them beg.
What about when they communicate with each other? Do they make any weird sounds or anything like that?
Yeah, the ones most that I remember is the clicking sounds. Click, 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 click. And I don't know if you remember or know Zach Garcia.
No.
You know him? Okay. He was doing interviews back when I was, and I went on his show. And while we were on the show, we had an alien intercept, both of us. We were just sitting listening. The scariest thing we ever heard. We're coming up with both of our phones.
Wow, that's pretty scary because the new Steven Spielberg film that's coming out, I believe in June, Disclosure, has humans who start this clicking sound coming out of their mouth, communicating from supposed aliens.
That's the way they talk. Click, 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 click. And you'll hear what sounds like a vibration. And then you'll hear them click, 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 and then back and forth. It's just, to hear it for real is really wild. It just, you know, you're sitting there on the phone, me and Jen were both quiet listening. And when it was over, we were like, oh my God, we were just tapped by aliens or demons. He calls them, everybody that I know calls them demons. Even President Vance said that they were interdimensional demons. Did you hear him say that?
Yes, I've heard him say that. What do you say about the people that say that's not true? They're friendly, they're here to help us.
There's
They're
not
us from the
one,
future.
there's not one species, not one here to help us. None of them are your friends. None of them. And there's a lot of people, they have that mindset because that's what they're programmed to say, you know, through the TV and stuff. And you know, they still laugh about when they talk about UFO. The reason they changed it to UAP is the same thing, but UFO has a much, it's just too much. In other words, you think of aliens immediately. UAP, you just think of object. And that's why they started calling them UAPs. But they're acknowledging that it exists, you see. And they all came from the water. They dug these tunnels to go to the water. They have to be, and they do live in water. They have to. There is no certain base for them. There just isn't. The crafts come out of the water. They go in the water, and so do the demons. They come in and out of the water. And the reason being is, I think, is because when the man in the tombs and God, they were begging him, please don't send us to the abyss, put us in the pigs. Well, they went into the pigs, and all the pigs clipped and drowned themselves. That's why they're stuck in the abyss. But the water is very important for them. It keeps them from our atmosphere deep down, deep. They don't stay in shallow water. Go deep. The deepest depths that there are.
Wow. That's interesting because that's what they're saying. A lot of those in Congress are saying they're coming from the water along with the Navy. Go ahead, Andrea.
Thank you, Mav, and thank you, Colonel, for being here tonight. I wish I had gotten here at the beginning, but I will definitely go back and listen. I do have a question for you. I heard you say a minute ago that they have been here with us from the beginning, or at least, in the course of our human evolution. And I wonder, to the best of your knowledge, if they have been here through the course of human evolution, have they themselves undergone any evolution, either in form, their physical form, or in their capabilities? Or have they maintained sort of a status quo this entire time?
No,
I don't know if you know the answer to that, but
oh yeah, I know the answer to that. They don't evolve. They're the same, but they shape shift into anything that they want to. They can shape shift into your table. No kidding. Shape shift into anything. They could be one thing, and it's a slow type of thing, like the old werewolf movies or something. It's instantaneous. Boom. Just 1 second or one thing, and boom, 1 second they're another. And that's the way they've always been. They didn't evolve. They were created and they were sent down here. And that's a whole nother story in the book of Genesis. You see, one reason I became a Christian is because everything that's happening now, the Bible perfectly spells it all out, just as happened, just like it's happening. And then Enoch, he said that they would be able to shapeshift into whatever they wanted at will. But they've always been here. They're just evil. They're very evil. The Nephilim are evil, and so are the so-called aliens. I don't like to call them aliens because it gives them too much credit. They almost ruined my life, with PTSD. So I don't want to get credit for nothing. But yeah, they've always been here, always. And they didn't evolve. They are what they are now, and is what they were then. 10,000 years ago. If that's how long they were here. That's what they were now, and that's what they were then. They're the same. They had no reason to shapeshift back then. There was nothing to shapeshift for. I mean, how do you think that the Nephilim had relations with women on Earth? Because they shapeshifted themselves down. Because, you can imagine one foot all would have on them. So that wasn't going to happen. So they shapeshift. They corrupted everything, the fish and everything. And it says it'll be just like that day when the Lord comes back. It'll be the same thing. And if you look, everything's getting corrupted now. Humans, everything's getting corrupted. There's nothing but evil in this world anymore. Not much good to go on.
thank you, Colonel.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Royal.
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today. Let's today is today's get off.
Wow, that is crazy.
So somebody already had intercepted him before me. Now we intercepted him. Me and Zen did this about 18 years ago. Got the intercept. And both of us, ever since that day, have been plagued with stuff, just things that happen that have no explanation, things like that werewolf. That's not the only thing that's happened around here, just I mean, I got 500 acres of woods behind me, you know. There's something back there. You know what I mean? There's something back there. So, in other words, I don't want to tempt fate. I don't want to go back there looking for something. I don't want to tempt fate.
Oh no, I understand 100%. We got Royalty. You got a question, Royalty? Then we're gonna go to UFO Sarah and then game.
Yeah, thank you, brother. So, um,
sewage parts, like in New York. Now look how evil New York is starting to get. And I've got a picture of the Hamas flag, and it's got a picture of a fist on it with 6 fingers. So that tells you right there it's Nephilim controlled. And during the days when we were meant to destroy all the strongholds of our enemies, there were 7 strongholds, and they ended up only destroying 6. And Gaza was the 7th one that they never went in. So Gaza is controlled by Nephilim. And I've heard soldiers tell me that they seen them there. They seen them. So I've always, that just confirmed for me that I was right. It's a stronghold. And that's one reason I think that Iran and all that, they won't let loose of it. They won't let loose of this war. And, in the evil's mind, they just want, it's not just Israel and the United States. They want to destroy the world. They want to destroy the whole world. There's so much hate in them, you can actually feel it. When they look at you, they hate you so bad. You can't even, the worst hate that you can imagine times it by 10. You just look like lunch to them. And they just want to destroy you. They think that their existence down here, that they were bound down here because of us. And it is because of us. Because God put them there. And I'm not Mr. Religious, but I'm spiritual. I don't believe in religion. I believe in spirituality. And, and that in itself is another dimension. Even God and the Holy Spirit and all that, that's supernatural too. But you got to believe in one or the other. You got to follow one or the other. You can't serve 2 masters. So, I watch the world getting more and more evil, controlling the government and knowing that they're pulling all the strings. And that's why we're seeing what we see. It's like them people that were coming across the border. You tell me how 100,000 kids went missing overnight and they don't have a clue where they're at. See, that's innocent blood to them. They crave it. And I know I sound like some kind of sci-fi show, but I'm telling you the truth. They're only here to steal, kill, and destroy. They just want us gone. That's their whole thing.
Thank you, Colonel. Andra, go ahead.
Thanks, Mav. Thank you again, Colonel. And let me assure you, there is nothing that you are saying that sounds crazy to any of us. In fact, just before you lost connection earlier in the space, you were about to speak of the crabs or the crab people. There are crab beings. There is another member of our community, retired Air Force veteran Jason Sands, who has also spoken about these crab entities.
Yeah.
Could you say a little bit more about that?
Yeah, they're just, everything I'm telling you about is giant. Okay, they're all huge. So the crabs stand up and they can all stand up on their hind legs. Every one of them. Every being that there is down there. Stand up on their hind legs. And the reason that werewolf got so close to me is because it was interdimensional. In dimensions, there is no time. So he just, boom, that quick. He was 70 yards away, and then boom, there he was right there. And the crab people are the same thing. They have under these bases, they have genetically manipulated everything. I mean, the fish, everything. Mermaids, they're demonic. All that stuff. But yeah, there are, for lack of better words, crab demons is what they are, but crab people. Yeah. And they're crabby, all right. They get close to you, you can consequences. Now, when I was down there, it was a little bit more controlled. But every day that goes by, my buddy told me it's getting worse and worse. In fact, about 7 months ago, they evacuated because something got out. They evacuated all the soldiers, everybody out of there for about a half a day. I don't know what got out. Something got out and something got loose, what it was. And hopefully security team took care of it. That had to be what happened because they let them back in. But I don't know what they're letting out now. I'm getting people that I know call me every week about another cryptid that they seen. Have you seen this? Have you seen that one? The rake. You know what the rake's his whole duty is to do? I have personally never heard of anybody killed by the rake. It stands at the end of your bed and gives you sleep paralysis. That's its whole existence. But I've never heard of anybody getting killed by it. The crabs, I'm sure that people have been killed by them. There's just some of them that are only allowed to do so much. Some of them can do anything they want. They have their own army, these demons. They have rank, not on their shoulder and them, but they know by looking at each other. Like the reptilians are the top dogs. And the next one is the cicada, what a lot of people mistake as for a mantis. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is mantis. I just haven't seen one. I've seen the cicada and it looks just like a mantis. And yeah, they know by looking at each other what they are as their rank. If you're a reptilian, you're at the higher rank. And them and the mantises, I'll say so everybody knows, them and the mantises are at odds with each other right now. They don't like each other. And yes, there are demons down there and beings down there that hate the other kind of beings because one will have more control and power than another. Yeah,
Thank you again, Colonel.
you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. That was my follow-up question, the hierarchy of these beings. So if these are demons, correct, what is your opinion on what happens to those who die and then go to hell, right? So demons are supposed to be in
Well,
hell.
there's some down there, yeah. The devil, we just have a saying that the devil said, I'd rather rule in hell than serve in heaven. And so, yeah, they're down there and they tear people apart and stuff and this and that. But one day they'll all be burning like the rest of them. Hell,
So do you think
go
maybe
ahead.
these are the watchers that are in Genesis and in the book of Enoch and not so much the fallen angels? Maybe they are the watchers that are spoken
The
of?
watchers are the
Or
fallen
do you think
angels. All somebody has to do really is read the book of Enoch and you really get a sense of what's going on. That's my favorite book besides the Bible is Enoch. And it used to be in the Bible. It used to be in the Bible. There's a big story about it was taken out, but I won't go into that. I don't.
that's it?
Huh?
That's interesting because Representative Luna talks about you want to know what an NHI is, read the book of Enoch.
Yep. Read the book of Enoch and you'll find out. See, I'm like when Steve interviewed me several times, it's because I'm the only person he knows of that's seen this firsthand. And his dad retired at Area 51. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah. And Steve was in the CIA for 7 or 8 years. So the information that I get from people, they're 100% legit. I know professors at the DOD. I know people in the CIA, NSA, all the ABC agencies, alphabet agencies. And a lot of them are ready to just resign or quit because they just can't deal with it no more. They just can't deal with it anymore.
I believe that, and that's why I had you on because Steve recommended saying I have to listen to your story and everything you've been through in your life. And if Steve told me it's true and I need to listen to you, that's why one of the reasons I did reach out after talking to him, after hearing you on his show.
Yeah,
So I believe.
he vetted me. He vetted me. He found out, from these agencies, was I really there? Some of them, like the CIA, the only thing the CIA will say, well, we can't deny that he was, but we won't confirm it either. So you just got to know who to talk to, and I don't think anybody in the general audience has them kind of connections. You got to be connected and you got to watch really what you say. There's some things I wish I could share with you that are just god awful, but I can't. So I pushed the envelope though. But now it's getting easier because they're coming out themselves and saying it. So yeah,
What do before we get to game, what do you think will be released with Trump's quote unquote alien or UFO disclosure?
that they're interdimensional and that's all they know about them.
Do you think they'll provide that much detail? Or do you think it's just going to be a couple photos of craft similar to what we've already seen?
No, I think he's going to come out and say a little bit more because remember he did say, I read some really interesting stuff. And I've seen some really interesting stuff. So the reason it's taking him so long is he's trying to figure out a way to explain it. You just can't come out and say, the world's we're being taken over by interdimensional beings, even though it's the truth. He's still the president. And he can only say so much. And Trump is going to say something before he gets out. He is going to say something. Probably right at the time that he does get out is when he's going to say it. Because how is J.D. Vance already saying that they're interdimensional demons? Like I'm telling him. Has he been down there or has he been told that? Because he's correct. Because I seen him say it on TV. He was being interviewed and he stops and he goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. First of all, I think they're demons, that they're interdimensional. Now, where would he come up with the line like that? Right?
No, definitely true. What do you think about folks like Dr. Greer, who says JD Vance saying that is dangerous, that UFO aliens are friendly? And what do you think about the CE5, the Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, where you go out with a group and you summon these beings
Yeah.
to your location? You think that's a good idea?
Yeah, no, it's not a good idea, but people do that. You can summon them. But that's why I said don't tempt fate. Because when they show up, you don't know what you're getting. Just like in and a little thing, that's not gotta go get a child. Twin dimensions. Send them home. Because what happens is first it's an organic, you think knock around and move, and then pretty soon they see a little child and they cater to it, suck in. It's just how they have fun. They're all on the years and they have no idea what they're doing. Demonic. They don't have no idea what they're doing. They just don't. I've seen people pull times like
Hello?
Go ahead, Rosie.
Oh my God! So nobody did. Yeah, what? I couldn't hear anything. I wanted to ask him about what kind of beings, other beings he's seen, like the reports of all these panther-like beings, all these cat-like beings, and then if being here, this is a duality, so there has to be good and bad. So on the good guy side, if he's seen any ascended or people that are human that actually can light up, or just what's the opposition? It can't be doomsday all day, right?
I'm trying to bring it back up. I think he said there are, and they could be anything. If you're talking like angels, I don't know if he's seen any. I'm trying to bring it back up, see what happens.
I meant not just angels, but like humans or us type of people that went through a natural birth type of thing, and that can oppose this. I mean, I know I have my thoughts about it, but I would like to hear his.
Yeah, now I don't see him. I think I lost him from the. There he is. I'll try to bring him up again. Go ahead, Andrea.
Oh, thank you. No, I was going to ask the colonel when he comes back up, if, given everything that he's told us, if he has any thoughts about the disappearance of General McCasland.
Oh, that's a great question. Let's see if we can get him back up. Go ahead, game, while we're waiting.
Yeah, I was going to ask as well. I've actually experienced a lot of stuff throughout my life that was close to the water. Stuff kind of like what he's talking about and whatnot. And I wanted to ask him if there was anything like as far as mind control or anything like that that he had known about um, or heard about in that type of reference.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm still trying to bring him back up. There we go. Who else had? You're back. You're back. We hear you. Who else had their mind blown when he mentioned the clicking sound and we got disclosure film coming out with the same
I
noise?
actually got
Yep.
physical chills down my whole body.
Yeah, wait till you're on the phone and you hear it. It's just, and not just the phone. I knew me and Zen knew what we were listening to because we both experienced them and was there firsthand.
Didn't the being in the movie the Signs make the same noise and it
Yeah,
come over the radio?
yeah, it sure did, didn't it? Come to think of it, sure did. That's how they sound.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so somebody
So what do
had
you
to hear
think?
it and know what it was to be able to put that in a movie, and you know, and people coming out and saying the same thing. One thing I found out when I came out, nobody was saying nothing about UFOs or anything. And I just come out from a world of them. It was like stepping out of hell. I actually, when the plane landed, I was living in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at that time. When the plane landed, my mom and them came to pick me up. She's got a picture of me kissing the ground saying, "God bless America." It was in North or in the Myrtle Beach Times. Yeah, I couldn't wait. I was so glad to be at home, and then I was having troubles. My mom was telling me that there was something different, and then I went down the drinking trail and the drug trail. None of it worked. It's a lie in itself. Drugs and alcohol. It's just about everything we get told these days is a lie. Just about everything that we get told. Just like President Trump's assassination attempts. Is it a lie or is it the truth? We'll never know. We know there's an agenda behind all of it. But that's what they want you to be confused and stay that way. Just like it's up to the person about transgender and stuff. But basically, they're shapeshifters. they're, sha- they're they're going to get surgery to get shapeshifted. It's just unbelievable what's going on now. You would, and I know I'm old. I'm probably 20 years older than you are, Matt, but you know as well as I do, when we were kids, you would have never even heard about that stuff.
Oh, not at all.
You better stay in the closet, or you get a butt whooping every day. You know, somebody would be out there to whip your butt, and but nobody said anything back then. And apparently, you know, it's been going on for a long time. I mean, Sodom and Gomorrah in the Bible, it was all sexual perversion is what caused God to destroy it. That's always the last straw for God in the Bible, is sexual perversion. And right now, this world is about as perverted as you can get. I would say it's probably worse than Sodom and Gomorrah right now. You know, it's just, you just better, you know, I know a lot of people don't like to hear about the Bible and stuff, but here I went through this stuff and seen it. And everything that the Bible said is confirmed. And all the things that are happening is concerned. Just like that asteroid that's headed towards the Earth. It's real. And it's going to, they said if it hits, this is the newscast saying it. If it hits, it'll tear up 1/3 of the water and 1/3 of the earth. And that's exactly what the Bible says. And a giant millstone came down out of heaven and destroyed 1/3 of the water and 1/3 of the earth. Now, you tell me 100% of the prophecies in the Bible are being fulfilled to the T. What are the chances of one prophecy being fulfilled by anybody? It's like 1,000 to 1. Just one prophecy that they say will be fulfilled. So what are the chances of the Bible being true to the word? And I'm telling you this from experience. I'm telling you it's true. The absolute truth. And
You're talking about Apophis, correct?
the whole Bible in general.
No, the
Apocryphy.
its name is
Oh
Apophis.
yeah. What about them?
That's the one supposed to come in between the Earth and the
Oh yeah,
Moon, but closer to the
yeah.
Earth.
They say it's going to miss by 20,000 miles, which is very close. But it's a direct hit. 100%.
Yeah,
Well,
it's the size of the Eiffel Tower, I
yeah,
believe.
it's the size. Well, they said it's the size of the Empire State Building, and it's not the chances being slimmer than that. Not 99%. It's 100% going to strike the Earth. 100%. They just don't want it being talked about because it'll throw people in a panic. And that's what they thought they would happen. If I was on the news and I told everybody what I just told you, and they knew it was true, everybody would be committing suicide, all kinds of stuff. You know, robbing a bank, what the heck, we're going to die anyway. And, you know, but you can miss that death by, in my view, by being a born again Christian. You can miss that because there's hope there. There is no hope without it. There is no hope. And I'd rather live with hope. Better to live than to die without hope.
That is so true. 9 p.m. I don't know if anyone else has any more questions for the Colonel. We've been going for 2 hours. I don't want to keep him too long. We always have him
Yeah, you
back.
can have me back.
Anyone have any?
Well, I would like to ask Mav, Colonel, if you have time for just one more question. I
Sure.
wonder, given everything that you've said tonight, do you have any speculation or information, but presumably speculation on the disappearance of General William Neal McCaslin?
Sure do. He, he was too outspoken and he knew too much. And, you know, those 13 scientists, right? Those 13 scientists that are missing, presumed dead. Some of them are dead. No, they all are dead. There's 13 scientists that went missing. They found out all of them were dead. and they were working on black budget projects. So they're getting rid of all the evidence. That's what they're doing, including people. And I might even be at risk. I don't know. I'm telling everybody this stuff with the hopes that I'm not, but I'm sticking my neck out. And Steve's sticking his neck out. We're all sticking our neck out, hoping that it doesn't happen to us. But we can't be sure. I don't live in fear anymore. I don't live in fear. Am I still on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
I don't live in fear no more. Fear is a negative thing, and that's not me. I'm not going to live in fear. Fear will destroy you. And yeah, that's what I think happened to him. I think he knew too much. Maybe I don't know enough.
Well, let's be glad you don't then.
I know everything that goes on down there, man. I'm telling you, it's a burden to carry. Especially when I'm out in the woods. You know, it's 500 acres of woods behind me, but no houses. I live on top of a mountain. It's just me. You know, my wife died a year ago. And so it's just me now. We were married 27 years. And she remembers some of the stuff that I've been through. But when I came home, my mother told me, she said, there's something different about you. You're just different. You know, and I said, I just don't really want to talk about it. It took me a few years before I said anything. And I heard one guy come out and I thought, well, maybe if I come out, it'll help me. And it does help me to tell it. Then I know I'm not the only one burdened with it. I'm not trying to burden anybody. I'm just trying to tell you the truth is, you know, do I believe in the Bible? Yes, 100% truth. That's one of my absolutes. Without it, I can't live. You got to know the end from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? You got to know it. And for everything to be coming true, like it says, you know, in the Bible, even about the Iran war, it's even in there. And to everything to 100% come totally true with no mistake in it. It's just the odds are one with a billion zeros behind it. But to have one thing come true, but to have everything come true, you can't help but believe it. You can't help it. And when I got born again, I could feel that spirit of truth in me. That I wasn't afraid anymore. You know? And everything that I'd done wrong and stuff in my life, like it was lifted off of me. Because, you know, I did other things too. I don't want to go into that, but I did other things too. And, you know, the world would look at as okay, but not me. It wasn't okay. And some of the stuff I seen, I wish I could have interrupted, like children and stuff being abducted and killed. And it's just, they're sacrifices. They make ritual sacrifices. Hollywood's eat up with them. Pizzagate and all this stuff. It's all coming true. All of it. And I just beg y'all, if you've never done it before, read the Bible just one time. Just read it once. Just read it one time and you'll be changed. I guarantee it. I know it's a big, long book and everything, but you'll start noticing all the consistencies when you're reading it about what's going on now. You know, it says that God speaks twice because man doesn't perceive it right on the first time. So there's two meanings to everything. There's two meanings. So, you know, and back in the days of Noah, he said, in 120 years, I'll destroy all flesh. Well, everybody says, well, in 120 years, all flesh wasn't destroyed. What about the Nephilim and all this? He said there was giants in those days and also after that. And in 120 years, the Jews 7 years is a week of years. That's 1 week of years. 120 times 7 is 6,000 years. And scientists and it's like, people that are college educated now, and archaeologists believe that the flood was 6,000 years ago. Isn't that funny?
Yep, yep. Colonel, I did find your address from Steve's YouTube
Okay.
channel. So I posted Jumbo. If anyone the colonel's struggling a little bit with money. If anyone would like to donate to him, his mailing address is up top. I put it up top in a jumbo for you all. Appreciate anything anyone can give
Yeah, I do.
to him.
You see, when me and my wife were on Social Security, and she died of cancer, a horrific death. She was in so much pain, but when she died, half my income disappeared. I mean, I got all this to keep up here, and I live on $1,300 a month, which most poor people make more money than that. So I've got a lot of upkeep with this property and all, and it just helps me. If you don't want to give, that's fine. I don't get mad at anybody, whether they give or not. I don't care. If you don't want to give to me, give it to some good charity that's doing good things. I'm being taken care of by God. I'm being taken care of. But that's just, I can't go out and eat. I can't enjoy just little things. I can't do any of that. And sometimes I'm short for my bills. When my bills are all paid, I've got like maybe not even $100 left to last me till a whole nother month. So I do struggle, but I do try to help others. If I got it, even if it's $20, if I got it left and somebody needs it more than me, I'll give it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Colonel. We got Doomer. Doomer's got his hand up. Go ahead, Doomer. Then I think we're called
Mav, Guy, and Pop, historical, I dare say killer space, pun intended. Colonel Gregory, I have a couple questions. I know you want to go to sleep. Just shut me up whenever you're done.
No, go ahead.
And I'll be as quick and as rapid fire for the initial ones. You were talking about Apophis. You're saying NASA's lying. It's not a 2.84% chance. It's a 100% trajectory direct hit.
Yes.
2029.
Yes.
And not 2034 for the turnaround.
Well, it could be
the closer
2029.
flyby is 2029.
It could be both, one or the other. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what day it's going to come, or year, but I know it's going to be it's 100% going to hit. 100%.
I'm going to assume it's the sooner one because the flyby is closer on 2029.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And how do you know? Like, who told you? And you don't need. I'm not asking for a name. I'm asking a description of your source. Like, how would they know?
He was with the CIA. And all my uncles, I got connections at NASA too. My whole family was either at war or working for NASA. All my great uncles, all of them. I remember when I was a little kid, they used to send me model rockets and stuff from there all the time. And so, NASA won't say it, but they're 100% sure. They know it.
Yeah, NASA knows, and they have to sort of corroborate with everybody to confirm that the trajectory is, to lie, right? Because they're telling everybody it's only a glancing blow with our atmosphere. And so you had connections with the CIA, and they told you?
Yes. They just don't know how to handle it.
They don't know how to handle it.
They don't know what to do, what to tell people.
Well, they're not going to tell people.
No.
But do you know anything about missions that were sent 1 or 2 years ago that were meant to deflect Apophis? Have you heard anything about that?
No, I haven't heard anything about that.
What about, and I'm just going to keep on rapid fire. Hope that's okay. Like, I want to squeeze as much out of you respectfully as I can.
Go ahead.
And it's an honor, Gregory. We're honestly, like, it's awesome to have you in the space.
Thank you.
And I mean that. And I believe everything you went through, was it the Dulce base?
Dulce, Area 51, Area 52, which is just southwest of Salt Lake City, Utah, El Toro in California, and some of the bases I didn't even know I was at another base. Hard to
Yeah.
explain.
Yeah, I just want you to know you're not here with a debunker. I believe your experiences that you went through and that happened. When it comes to 2027, there are many different rumors. One including a cataclysm, a pole shift, a solar micronova. Have you heard anything about this?
Well, I know the Earth is wobbling more than it ever has, and the Bible even talks about that. In the end, near the end, the Earth will wobble to and fro. It said, and that's exactly what it's doing right now, and that's what's
But
affecting the weather.
but in terms of intel, in terms of sources, anything you've seen, anything from 2027 regarding natural disasters or cataclysms?
Yeah, I can't say who, but yeah, I know about a bunch of them. But climate change. First it was global warming, and then it didn't sit so good, so they started calling it climate change. There is no climate change. The Earth cycles every so many thousand years. It's just another cycle. And and,
I
and go
sorry,
ahead.
keep going. No, keep going.
Just the end of a cycle is what this is. We're getting cycled, but it'll be the last one ever.
When you say it'll be the last one ever, can you please be as specific as possible?
Yeah, because I believe the Lord's coming back before then and taking his people out.
Was this coming from the same source about the natural cycles?
Yes. You wouldn't
Um,
believe how many people in the CIA and all these ABC agencies are Christians. You wouldn't believe it.
I wouldn't believe what? How many people in the CIA do what?
And all the ABC agencies that are Christians that believe just
Oh, I
like I
would.
do.
I absolutely would. There's an undeniable tie-in. And respectfully, Colonel, I disagree with you on some takes, but I'm not interested in working those out. You have valuable information, and I'm here to listen. And the fact that the phenomenon is deeply tied with religion, Christianity, and our souls is undeniable. So, and the CIA and reptilians. I mean, you're speaking our language here, so it's not beyond the Overton window for us.
Right.
The CIA contact or whoever told you about the natural cycles, because you said you can't say who it is. Was
No,
that
I can't.
also that's fair. That's fair. Was that also CIA contact?
Yeah, and another guy at the Department of Defense had the same spin on it. He told me the same thing. I mean, it was like they didn't even know each other, and he almost told
Yeah.
me word for word what I just said.
No, I've heard similar things. Did they mention any tie-in with Apollo, the Apollo missions, looking for signs of the frequency and the severity, the devastation of these cycles?
Yeah, it's going to be total devastation. It's just going to be total. And
Mm-hmm.
all of us that had cosmic top secret is anything to do with space. That's why they call it cosmic. Cosmic top secret has anything to do with space. And so all the guys that I know, the cosmic top secret, 90% of them, I can't say all of them, about 90, maybe 80, 90% of them would tell you the exact same story I'm telling you right now, except they're still working. And some of them just afraid, period.
Yeah, and this is not the first time I'm hearing this. But did they reference anything regarding Apollo? Apollo is the god of cycles, devastation, destruction, renewal,
That's one of the
plagues.
devil's nicknames is Apollyon.
Yep, or Abaddon.
Yep.
Um, so, but did did anybody directly inform you that the purpose of the Apollo missions was to establish the severity and the timing of these cycles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did they say anything more specific that it had to do with the glass that they found in the soil on the moon?
No, I didn't hear that.
Okay. I'm almost done, and thank you so much. You mentioned that you had contacts that are working different, highly classified stuff, and you said they're sick of it. I've learned never to tolerate ambiguous pronouns. What exactly is the it that they're sick of?
They're sick of the paranormal. They're sick of watching people get killed. And they're sick of all these disgusting creatures that they're making. It's just disgusting. And I know I can say that, That doesn't hit home about what it's really like when you see it. It's disgusting. It's always stinking, and they're always just disgusting animals. Disgusting.
And who's making them? Is it just the others, or is the U.S. government or deep state making them as well?
The U.S. government's involved deeply.
Why? Why are we making
Super
chimeras?
soldiers. Super soldiers.
If
But
the
it's not
world's
just
about to
us.
get wiped out, why do we need them?
You tell me.
Do you think it's for what comes after, for the surviving civilization?
Or what
All of
comes
this.
before. They don't. It's one thing that's hard to nail down with any scientist or anybody in the black operations like I was. It's hard to nail down timing because they just don't want to say it because that's going over the line with the agencies when you start setting times. And when you start setting times, and if it doesn't happen, that ruins your credibility. So that's why we don't set times because we don't know the time. We just know it's near, very near in my
Um,
lifetime, and I'm old.
Colonel, you're clearly still sharp of mind. Last few questions regarding the things you said that you couldn't say. I understand if there are security oaths, NDAs, that are gagging you, but did you include in that things that are too dark for the human psyche to handle?
Yes,
Can you
there's some.
please can you please presume that there are those here in this room who've already heard everything, whether it's souls being trapped in ships or a soul recycling program? Can you just rip the band-aid off? Because if we're not going to hear it from you, we're not going to hear it from anyone.
Well, let me ask Mav a question. You're going to have me back on, Mav?
Oh no, please, please. The aliens are going to get you if you don't say it now, Colonel Corso.
Absolutely.
They already did get me.
Absolutely.
But if he's going to have me back on, I'll be able to figure a way to tell that, and you get it. It's it just was laid on me, and it's hard when something's that deep of a secret to just blurt out what it is.
Well, that's totally fair. And I don't want to endanger your life, but you must be aware of the phenomenon that right when it comes to getting the answers that really matter is when the phenomenon intercedes and something goes wrong. And sometimes that includes, tech issues or making
Right.
somebody feel like they can't
But I
say it.
assure you that I will let everybody know before it happens, because I will be told when it's going to happen. When it gets closer, they'll tell me things that I can let out because they're going to let it out with the other guy. Well, it's like
Are you talking about a death squad ship coming in 2027?
no. I'm talking about an asteroid.
2029, yeah, that would be Apophis.
Yeah.
But the dark stuff, like the stuff that was too dark for the human psyche to handle, is there anything you can give us a teaser? Yeah, and we want you
Well,
back.
some of it,
I
I'll
want
tell you this,
Mav having
some
you
of
back.
it's happening right now in plain sight. It's if you can really understand how deep the word evil goes, you can see it right in plain sight. Some of them I can see it right in plain sight. And I try to see this is a question that has to be answered later because I got to try to figure out. I'll figure out a way to say it, but I just can't right now. I just can't.
Totally fair. Totally fair. But and you cut out though from the internet connection. What was it that you could see in plain sight?
Just the way the world is one of the things, and the way the governments are run. A real human being wouldn't run the governments of the world like they do now.
That was what I was
We're
asking you.
basically right.
Yeah, yeah. So
Huh?
you're saying a lot of what's happening right now in the world, including our own government, is at the hand of negative, demon, alien, NHI manipulation.
Exactly. It's
Very, very
exactly
last
right.
question. Antichrist. Do you know anything? I mean, I assume your religious belief is saying we're going to see some version of an Antichrist, but have you heard anything from a source definitive about an Antichrist before a second coming of Christ?
Well, I've heard so many different people say different names. Some people say Trump. If anybody, I believe it's going to be from Egypt. I'll just tell you that. It's going to come out of Egypt.
Thank you so much, everyone, for letting me ask my string of questions. You guys are amazing.
Well, you're fine.
And I'm
You're
sorry for
fine.
being so aggressive. I've
No, don't
handlers,
worry. Don't
and they're making me
don't
ask
worry
these
about it.
questions.
Yeah,
Thank you.
don't
Thank
worry
you,
about
Colonel.
it, man. You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Doomer. You always hit us with the good questions. Go ahead. Money Penny was up. Now Money Penny dropped. Interstellar dropped. Oh man, they must not want us to talk about these
Wait,
subjects.
what do you mean? Am I not on there?
No, you're there. There was a couple other people that were up and they dropped. And I'm gonna tell everyone, I've been streaming this on YouTube, right? I stream a lot of my spaces on YouTube. I've never had this happen before where my audio from the PC to OBS went out for 15 minutes and I couldn't get it back on. And then I was finally able to, and there was no reason whatsoever.
My audio has been
Go
going
fit
out this entire space, and I am right in front of my router.
insane. I mean, I blame the app for a lot of things, but tonight the issues I'm having on my PC, it's not normal.
Yeah,
It's just not
that's all government stuff right there happened. I'm sure.
Go ahead, Interstellar. Then we go to Moneypenny.
Moneypenny was before me, so sorry. Do you want to go to Moneypenny first?
Oh, okay. She's back up now.
Yeah,
Go
sorry.
ahead, Money.
I was kicked off all of a sudden. Is that what Andra was saying? Did you just lose connection,
A
Andra?
lot of us are having audio connection problems, yeah.
Oh, that was weird. Where's the Colonel gone? Is he still there? Hello, Colonel. I'm in
I'm
English.
still here. I'm still here.
My name is Moneypenny. Can you be my James Bond, Colonel?
Yeah, I will.
I was just checking whether he could hear me. Colonel, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me,
Yeah,
man?
he can. I can hear you, Colonel. Money, can you hear him?
I
Oh
presume I
man,
can't be heard.
I hear you, Money.
I hear you. Sounds like he's from Britain or somewhere.
Yeah, M16 must have took her
Oh,
out.
God. What happened there?
Are you back,
Am
Money?
I? Can you hear me again?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear
Sorry.
me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I got you, Colonel. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm across the pond here. Maybe that's it. I'll blame it on that. You have a fascinating CV, sir. I've just done some checking out of you. I come from a military family in the UK. My father was in the bouncing bomb squadron of the RAF. And I'm fascinated by some of the experience you have, and I understand and appreciate there's some things you can't talk about. If we look at the last, 3 to 5 years, is there something that you wish somebody had asked you that you are able to talk about?
Not really.
Okay. I'll try my luck
We
then.
can we can do another show, and I'll still have questions I can answer that we haven't been asked yet.
Okay, so on Three Eye Atlas, I read that you thought this was an alien invasion, which is what Avi Loeb was talking about. That didn't happen, to my knowledge, although it's still floating around. Is there anything about that particular Three Eye Atlas that you think people should be aware of?
Well, if it is a ship, it's controlled by reptilians. I know that Planet X has got reptilians on it, and it shifts in and out of dimension. It doesn't just disappear. It just shifts in and out of dimension. All these planets, you got to remember, are interdimensional. They were spoken into existence by a frequency. And just for an example, the CERN Collider, what they're doing down there is they're letting demons through by what they're doing, number one. Number two, they're trying to find out what frequency it was that God spoke so they could speak their stuff into existence. That's the whole mission. They're looking for the frequency.
Okay, that's hysteric. You're in engineering, or were certainly knowledgeable of. My father was an engineer, electronics engineer in the RAF. So I have to ask you, what propulsion mechanism do you believe that non-human craft would use to achieve their hypersonic speed?
It's nuclear, and it's dangerous. I don't know what you'd call it. In other words, what they do is they open up a cone in front of them, a cone of nothingness. And it's a dimension, you see, and they can slip right through it. In other words, they don't move on their own propulsion exactly. They fall through this tunnel of nothing that you can't see, has no air in it. You can't break the sound barrier. That's what it is. And I heard that from an engineer at Area 51. He was telling me at lunch when we were at the cafeteria, because I asked him, and he says, "I'm glad you asked that because nobody has yet." He said they open up this cone in front of them of
Yeah,
space.
yeah, that makes some sense. I've heard about bending light around, particularly these triangular fixed wing craft. My last question, being an Area 51 aficionado, I've been following Dan Burrush for many years. I'm intrigued by his story and the amount of hours and hours he spends talking about it. Did you ever bump into him, or do you not believe in him? I mean, is he true? Is he real?
Well, yeah, most of what he says is real. I can't tell a person if they're all real or all not. I can't do that because I don't know myself. Because there's a lot of people who are going to question me and say, "Is what am I saying is all real?" So I don't know what his reality is compared to my reality. You know what I'm saying? What he says is real, I may have just never seen before. Is all.
Can you
So I
confirm he
don't.
worked at Area 51 though? Did he work there? Potentially cross over with you?
No, I worked there, and my sleeping quarters were wherever I was stationed. I didn't. Wasn't, we didn't. We're not allowed to live off base. They don't want nobody living off base. They're afraid somebody will talk.
Many thanks. I've taken up too much of your time. I do appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Money. We have Susie. Go ahead, Susie.
Hey, ma'am. Thank you. I'll be quick because I know Colonel, you seem to be getting a little tired. Um, all right, dear. So first of all, thank you very much for sharing your story. I only got some of it because I popped in and out, but Mav kind of gave me gave an overview. So I find it interesting because there was where I live in some rural area. There was about 2 months ago, there was an attack on a woman and they couldn't identify what it was and she said it was like a um wolf dog like creature, and they were sending DNA samples off and things like that. I mean, nothing's ever been reported back, but I thought that was interesting when you were talking about that earlier. But my question for you is that okay, so if we have these beings coming in, a lot of this, from your belief system, what you're saying as far as the evil and the attacking and things like that. Do you think that there are any benevolent beings, like as far as even aliens? Do you think there are good aliens and
There
bad
is no.
aliens?
There's no good aliens. There's no good aliens, and that's the problem people have. There is not one of them that has a good agenda. Not one. And I think I've been in confrontation with all of them, and I have found it to be true that there is none that are here for our good. And even Stephen Hawking said that. He said if there are, he didn't believe there was, but he said if there are aliens, they won't be here for our good interests. Now, even Stephen Hawking said that. Said they wouldn't be here for any good, and they're not. They're not here for any good.
Okay, thank you.
You're you're welcome.
Go ahead, Interstellar.
Thank you, Mav. Colonel, it's great to speak to you, man. I've got one simple question for you.
Okay.
During your career, what is one thing that you learned that kept you up at night most?
Werewolf. That was my great fear as a child, and then when I seen it in real life, it became my greatest fear.
Would you say that werewolves are physical creatures, or do you think they're kind of interdimensional creatures,
They're
like what they
interdimensional.
experience? It?
There's some that are interdimensional, and some of them that were wolves that were DNA manipulate genetically that are physical, and they're massive. They're massive. They weigh between 400 and 800 pounds.
Which area did you experience these? Was it like anywhere near native lands, and could they have been skinwalkers possibly?
No, there's skinwalker. Werewolf can only take one shape, and that's the shape of a werewolf. And they're all over the place. Like I said, I confronted one here in my property. But it's hard to tell what factor. But all I know is that now, you put added up. There's 500 acres of woods that I'm in. No houses, no nothing. I can go out there right now and not even hear a cricket. Nothing.
Have you said you got like a fear of werewolves, but have you ever really felt in danger? Have you ever had any encounters that have made you fear for your life?
Every day. I felt endangered every day. You have to be sharp and on your guard. They don't look for brains when they hire heads of security or security people in places like that. They look for people that have a past, most of the time. Some guys out of prison they have down there. Because a good scientist or good doctor or good person is not going to do this. Not going to go down there. They know it. So they're not looking for a sparkly clean record. They're looking for guts. And I guess I had enough.
I've got one more question, Colonel, if that's okay.
Okay.
I've kind of been listening. It's late in the UK, so I haven't listened to like every word, but I heard you say something that was called cosmic top secret. Could you tell us what cosmic top secret means, please?
Cosmic has anything to do with interdimensional or space.
Is that like an official government classification?
Yes, it is.
Cosmic top secret.
Yes. And I don't know about now. My buddies, when they call, I just know that they have high clearance. There's Majestic too. And I know some guys that have Majestic top secret clearance. And I know a lot about the UK and across the pond. And I know that a lot of that same stuff goes on over there that's going on over here. They got their underground bases too. Australia has an underground base. New Zealand has an underground base. China, Russia, all of them do. Every country on the earth does. That's why when you watch the government, when they start turning and doing evil things, you know who's pulling the strings. Interdimensional beings. And they think because they're interdimensional that they can go in and out and they tell the forecast basically. When they already know they're lying. The beings themselves, they know they're lying. There's no truth in any of them. None. They'll tell you one thing one day and the whole opposite thing the next day on the same subject. And I learned this from working with the scientists guarding them. I knew because the scientists told me they were lying. So yeah, they're just a bunch of liars.
Thank you, Colonel. I'm going to drop down, man. Thank you, man, for letting me speak, and have a great space, guys.
You too.
No,
Thank you.
Go ahead. Put your hands up.
Huh?
Thank you so much, man.
You're welcome.
It's really been a fascinating story. I appreciate you so much for sharing and for being so candid and open. I know sometimes these things aren't exactly easy to talk about, but I think Miss Moody's up and she's got her hand up. She's new on the panel, and then we can go to Susie. Is that good with you, Mav?
Yeah, thank you. My mute mic is going crazy. It's muting, I'm muting, muting, I'm muting, muting, I'm muting.
You're fine. I will definitely back you up, bro. I just my attention's split a little bit because I'm getting my little one ready for bed. She had a fever today, so she's got to get in there now. Sleepy time. So I appreciate you guys. Go ahead, Miss Moody.
Oh, good conversation. Interesting. If you don't mind, I don't know. I came in late. It's probably been asked already, but I wanted to ask: are humans genetically engineered by these aliens?
Some of them, yeah. Yeah,
Could you say which ones?
nope. You what?
I knew it.
I can tell you this: if you walk through a Walmart and you walk past 100 people, you've walked past 2 or 3 that were not human. That's how abundant they are. If you're standing in a 10 by
Okay.
10 room, there's so many in there that they're stuffing themselves in there like sardines to get in there to try to get you. And then what they do, it's a battle of the mind, is what it is. It's all warfare on the mind. That's how they plan on winning, is win warfare over it with your mind. And that's why I'm outspoken about my Christian belief, is because the war against good and evil is all in the mind. It's all in the mind. And you can't get on the good side unless you're on it. You can't be hot or cold. You got to be in or out. And I decided to get in and stayed in, and my life has been a whole lot better because of it. A whole lot better.
So would you say then that people that operate on different frequencies would sense them or be left alone by them?
Well, they know what they are. They know what they are. When I tell you, you walk past them every day, they know what they are. And every now and then, when you're in a big crowd somewhere, look at everybody's eyes, as many as you can, and you'll see them.
So they're the empty space eyes.
They
Just
are
empty.
reptilian eyes, or they're just, you know, you can sense evil.
100%.
Yeah. Well, if you sense, when you look in the eyes of an evil one, you'll know it. I can tell you that.
So just one last question. I don't want to hog the mic. This is interesting though. So okay, this is a deeper question because I study the occult. So I just am curious with something.
Mm-hmm.
With the evil ones, if you can get on a vibration with them in their eyes, do they sense fear, and are they fearful of particular humans?
They sense fear if you're a Christian, because they don't want no part of that, because that's what's sending them where they're going. And what was the other part of the question?
Just if they can sense. So if
They can.
humans are genetically engineered by them, and we obviously can't say how many, if they come across one that's unaware that they're genetically engineered,
No, they're not unaware.
and that's
They're genetically engineered. They're totally aware.
okay. So it means we're all good in this room then.
Maybe some of us. Nuts. I know you had your hand up before I called on you, but didn't answer. You still there?
Oh,
Nuts?
sorry, I didn't know, Matt. I appreciate you guys doing this. Thank you for coming up here, Colonel.
You're welcome.
So my question was, do you in your time, did you ever hear anything about the city of Agartha?
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I've heard so much stuff I just can't place it. You know, I've heard of it.
What about the theory of a hollow earth?
Yeah.
And do you know anything about the Nazis' expedition to finding it? And
Argentina went down to South Pole.
yes, sir.
Yeah, and there's where they met the Palladians, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white-skinned aliens or demons.
Yes, sir. Can you expand on that at all, or no?
Maybe a little bit. It's pretty much what you see at every other base. You know, when you've seen one, you've seen them all, because they all have the same agenda. So there's the same machines there, same kind of scientists, same kind of beings. You know, some of the beings are so violent that they can't even let them out of an electrically charged cage. So, yeah, when you bend to one, you bend to all of them.
Thank you.
You're right.
I also had another question is the werewolves, what's their preferred environment to live in, and do they hunt in or travel in packs or more than two or
Yeah,
more?
they do. Some of them do. You know, they do travel in packs, but they're just like a lobo. You know, the lone wolf. That's what a lobo is in Spanish, I think. Is a lone wolf, and there's some that don't travel with any of them, anybody else. And but I talked to a guy not too long ago that's seen one, and I know he's seen one because he don't lie. He's seen one, and he's seen about 20 pairs of glowing eyes behind it. So he knew he was in trouble. So rather than look back or throw something at it or say something, he just kept on his merry way and made it home. See, you gotta give him a reason to react. Cursing is no way to do because you're just giving him an open door by swearing and cursing. That gives him an open door.
Gregory, are you like what makes you such an expert, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, because I was there with him and
With
of all the
who?
connections I
Who's
have.
them? Like, sorry, I'm like a newbie on all this shit. Who's them?
What do you mean, them? Be a little more specific on them.
Well, that's the question, isn't it? I'm curious. Like you said, you're
The,
with
the
them.
evil ones, the evil ones, they're evil. I can't stress that enough. You've been around an evil person before, haven't you?
What makes an alien evil?
Their agenda.
What's their agenda?
Destroy the earth and try to take it over. Destroy everything that's on the earth and try to take it over.
You think they want to like end all life on Earth, like including animals, or just all like human life?
All life. Then they'll
Well,
start eating. Then they'll eat each other.
you get behind it if it was human life, but if it's all life, that's kind of stupid. And they're doing it to just like feed off life force. That's kind of gross.
Yeah,
And it
it's right.
sounds like they're demons, but maybe there's different types. Probably some of them are like demonic, and then some of them are not demonic.
Well, I just
Yes.
said,
Would you see a shark as demonic? Because really, it just wants to eat you.
Hold on, Star Captain, hold on.
Oh, see, now we're getting deeper into it, right?
But
Like,
what? Yeah, 77. Earlier in the space, this is Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Kick, and he used to work at S4. And he described how he worked with the Nephilim, different ET races, and they refer to themselves as the Nephilim. And so, yeah, you're kind of right on. But and then yeah, Star Captain, just raise your hand for us, okay? Because we've got kind of a full panel, and everybody wants to get a chance to ask questions, okay?
yeah, I'm starting to burn out.
We could.
Yeah,
Can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you.
Stupid. Yeah, they're definitely hitting me up on my account. I can't. My mic's going on in and out. Uh, yeah, Colonel. Whenever you've had enough, we can end the space. If you're willing to take a couple more questions, we can. It's up to you.
I'd rather end it for right now and do another show with you. I mean, I'm getting pretty old.
Oh,
It's hard for me to keep up like this.
sure, we could do that. Not a problem. Well, everybody in here, if you like tonight's space, look for an announcement going out. I'll definitely have the Colonel back once again. Colonel, thank you so much. I think we learned a lot tonight.
Okay.
Everybody's looking guys, but maybe we should be looking down into the earth as
Yeah.
well. And thank you so much for joining us, Colonel. I'm glad we were able to get you on the app. I'll reach out to you. I truly appreciate you being with us here tonight. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. I hope you learned
Can I ask
something.
one question?
And sure, who's that?
Starcast. Approximately how many of these NHI do you think there would be at S4 or in these underground facilities? Do you have a rough estimate of how many of them
There's
are occupying
billions
us?
of them.
Billions.
Yes. Remember, they can materialize and dematerialize. They can fit in a you know in a box
Well,
of matches.
in my opinion, a UFO is really a doorway to their world. In that context, some people have explained there being like a football size inside of one, but that could just be a door that literally walks into their planet. Could just be a teleporter, like
Well,
a door. Is
they,
the UFO itself could be a door
they
to a
come
planet.
they come from here. They don't come from another star system. That's the whole lie. Oh, we're from here. We're from here. No, it's not. It's not that way. They've opened
Parallels.
They do an interdimensional doorway that they come through, which is nothingness. They just come. They just appear when they
Do you
at
think
will.
what they tell us could be cosmic propaganda and that they might be lying to us in order to exert an agenda and utilize people against people?
Yeah, I said that. Their whole agenda is to destroy us. And what makes a person kill another person for no reason? Something has
Do
to
you
hate
think,
them.
curiously, do you think that humanity asserting an Earth first cosmic sovereignty mandate that would reject any ET narrative would be the way forward to kick them off our planet and reassert our own narrative going forward?
Yeah, but it'll never happen.
Well, today happens to be May the 4th, so perhaps a cosmic republic of the people and for the people should start to rise upon this day.
Well,
May the 4th be with you.
may the force
Yeah,
be with
maybe
you.
Force be with you all.
Star Wars was real. But on that note, Colonel, thank you so much for being with us tonight. I'll reach out to you in another
Okay.
space. Thank you, everybody, for being with us.
Thank you everybody for coming on and listening to me.
No, thank you. You provide a lot of information, and I'm sure it's going to leave us with a lot of things to talk about in the days to come. So thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Going to end the space. Thank you for joining us. Remember, we're here. I remember pinned up top. If you want to help out the Colonel, that's his address. Definitely, if you can provide anything for him, he appreciates it. And like you said, and if you can't, and if it's goodness of your heart, donate to somewhere local to help people near you. But thank you everyone for here tonight, and have a great evening. And thank you,
You're
Colonel, so
welcome.
much. I'll reach out to you in a
Okay.
couple of days.
You have a good
Have a
night.
good night.